If you're a fan of music, it's highly likely you've attended a concert at some point, which is definitely a good thing. Concerts are extremely beneficial for the music industry as a whole. Not only does it allow musicians to make more money off ticket sales and merchandise, it also allows for a deeper connection between the musicians and the fans. Based on these facts, it'll be safe to assume that concerts are an entirely positive experience. Nope. Concerts by design attract the most die-hard fans of the particular artist, whether it be grindcore or Taylor Swift. These fans are always ravenous. For some reason, the supposed freedom of a concert can strip down every single inhibition or slice of integrity a person might have, leaving a rabid shell of a human being, protruding degeneracy with the power and frustration of countless years of being stuck in the ebb and flow of society, not to mention being a wage cuck. Don't get me wrong, some people are happy being normal and treat a concert as an enjoyable experience to connect with an artist and like-minded people. Unfortunately, the loud minority treat it as a lawless mound of bodies. In this video, I'm going to highlight some of the worst concert goers you might come across. Obviously, I would love to stay monetized on this platform, and sometimes that's easier said than done, so I'm going to dodge my way around certain words for this first individual. One of the worst individuals you may see at a concert is somebody that has eaten far too many M&Ms, to the point where their entire brain chemistry and understanding of acceptable behavior has altered. I do not encourage the use of drugs or M&Ms. You will see this all the time at shows. For some reason, people think the enjoyment of 100 gecs would be vastly improved if they permanently alter multiple synapses in their brain. Any individual who fits under this category can and will perform every action listed in this video, just at a 200% speed, with way more sweat globules flying around the venue. There is only one trait that can make the concert M&M gobbler even worse: ignorance. Occasionally, well-adjusted, healthy people will go to concerts for artists they don't even know, just for an excuse to get extremely f***ed up. For example, when I saw 100 gecs, there was one of these creatures lurking, and I would exclusively push him into the mosh pit 5 seconds before the drop every time, and he didn't have a f***ing clue. Although, to be fair, these guys can be incredibly funny. For example, when individuals take particularly strong M&Ms before a show that's obviously going to be extremely intense. When I saw Death Grips, the amount of jaw-swinging white boys I saw clawing their way out the crowd with nothing but fear in their eyes 10 minutes into the set was genuinely amazing. Although it's a possibility, it's unlikely you'll find any of these motherfuckers at a hardcore show due to the whole straight edge, vegan, bald head etiquette they employ. Although that is shifting a bit, with Zoomers being introduced to hardcore through medium ugly white men on YouTube. This has led to hardcore concerts being a hodgepodge of Zoomer push pits, and the next concert goer I'd like to cover on this list: crowd killers. So occasionally at hardcore shows you'll see a pit open up, and as opposed to a push pit, you'll just see 7 sexually frustrated men doing their best Joe Rogan impression with the hopes of clarting another crowd member in the head with their dusty DC shoes. I see this as fine if all the members in the pit are consensual and are happy to take part, and crowd members outside the pit are left alone. What I'm defining as a crowd killer in this video, as the term implies only negative connotations in my eyes, is the individuals who purposely launch their flabby limbs into sections of the crowd who just want to enjoy the music, then pretentiously brag about it after the show before proclaiming that hardcore is dead because he got called out for behaviours that would be considered disgusting, bordering criminal in any other context. Due to the side effects of the head dents these motherfuckers have obviously experienced, they come with a few other negatives. They usually stink because they want to abuse literally every sensory neuron in your brain. They also refuse to wear a shirt, which is only worsened by the fact that the sweat and body hair morphs into a sticky, grotty mess that gets layered all over other crowd members. The next person I want to cover is irritating but in a less violent way. The person who has obviously seen the artist in question before and will stand there with their arms crossed, consistently complaining about how the quality of the live show has worsened since the last time they saw them. These guys are usually OG fans who may have seen the band very early on in their career. They are also the same people that get visibly angry whenever a band gains more attention or changes the sound slightly to become more commercially viable. These guys can ruin the mood of a show in a much different way to, let's say, a crowd killer or M&M consumer. At least the violent, energetic motherfuckers bring life to a show and can lead to a few funny stories or interesting interactions. The whiny OG fan just brings the mood of the show down, unless the show is actually diabolical, and that'll be obvious by the vibe of the entire crowd. Just keep your opinion to your fucking self. No one, and I mean no one, gives a single fuck about how many times you saw the Strokes and how much better they were live when each of them were nodding out on This next one is something I particularly hate, and I'm not going to lie, predict it's going to be something that is barely noticed by the majority of you guys. So when you get into a concert that you know is going to be very energetic, the place you decide to stand doesn't really matter too much, because the mosh pits will form, the crowd will open up, and eventually you'll have the space to maneuver to wherever you want to go. What I hate is people that will consistently push past you despite already being in a good position just to be about 3 feet closer to the stage. These individuals usually come in packs, all rocking this haircut and occasionally having some dire excuse for facial hair. If you make a comment, they will immediately respond with a shit-eating grin and/or some sort of fist bump. Don't get me wrong, if you're short and can't see, I will happily let you past. It's more the motherfuckers who look like this who will push and shove just to be 2 people ahead in the crowd, only to eventually be pushed back when the mosh pit is too scary for them. This next person is somebody you're relatively unlikely to see at underground shows. It's more so the artists who were perhaps previously underground that have recently pushed into the mainstream thanks to social media and Chinese algorithms. The individual who thinks they're unique and creative for liking an artist that has recently exploded online due to their perceived edge. These motherfuckers will rock up to the concert, get extremely excited when they hear the 6-second snippet they heard on TikTok, and spend the rest of the concert slyly staring at anybody who's actually having fun, filming the stage and pretending to scream so they can increase their Zoomer social credit score, and getting vexed at anybody who may even slightly inconvenience them at a concert. Don't get me wrong, feel free to go to any concert regardless of the amount of songs you know, that's absolutely fine. Just don't flex it as some sort of unique and different personality trait online, or even you can do that, I don't care, just don't do it while simultaneously endlessly judging anyone who actually enjoys the music and doesn't fit into your tailored view of what the particular fan should look like. I wouldn't even call the next person a concert goer particularly, more so just an extension of the degeneracy that is already occurring. The reason I say this is because the individual rarely ever chooses to attend the concert they're going to. I'm talking about the disgruntled dad that's forced to go with their child due to the age requirements and just stands at the back of the venue, subtly judging everyone and getting visibly vexed anytime anyone gets anywhere near their overpriced piss beer. But to be fair, I can kind of understand. Imagine being roped into seeing Drain Gang because you have a drainer daughter. Like, this motherfucker would rather be listening to Tool or the Beatles, and he's listening to... So yeah, I understand. This next entry is pretty much the complete opposite of a crowd killer. The self-entitled person that seems to take mosh pits personally. They will stand on the edge of the pit watching the stage, and if at any point they even get brushed by another human being, they will immediately freak out and ignore the fact that they're at a concert that is guaranteed to have mosh pits and are specifically standing in a position where they will be hit. My sister in Christ, just maneuver to a different position. And finally, the worst of all, the one that can leave mental scarring and physical shock just from their presence, the most rancid concert attendee, this motherfucker.